afford kupanda taxi. Kwa banki sina kakitu, siwezi afford hata shati. Maji nanywa ya kanjo yako ya chupa za mapambo. Nalipia mtoto wako elimu ya bure ya juu. Unanipa ya bure lakini ya utu. Oh no. So nitapata wapi majibu ya maswali? Mahindi lienda wapi? Pia shilingi ya shule za msingi. Paulo mtume, mbona jela usimtume? Lazima abuniwe tume. Lazima abuniwe tume. Mapenzi ndizo hali mabasa tulificha kwa kabati. Kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. Tulimangamanga mpaka za maded I say. Lazima abuniwe tume. Mpaka za lazima abuniwe tume. Oh. Sheria. Oh. Sheria. Sheria. Fuata. Sheria. Sheria. Oh, oh. Sheria. Yeah, yeah. Fuata. Sheria. 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 Oh, oh. Fuata. Sheria. Sheria. Pia wewe mwananchi, tabia zako ziko chini. Unapenda kulipa hongo na kutumia njia za uongo. Una mipango na hata watoto wa kando. Haujui hata majina yao. Kura yako uliuza maini figo, ukakulia hadi dini. Kisha wasema tukuthamini, na wewe hapo hauaminiki. Na wewe hapo haupangiki.
Wapi kidero when you need to slap somebody? Complain ufisadi, kwani ulidhani t-shirt 50 bob leso siku ya campaign ilikuwa free? Ni 5 year loan investment, utalipa kingia parliament. We are one, amani we are one. Na utumishi kwa wote, utu missing CCTV we were watching. Racial insecurity na job opportunity ni kama mti ya kibiriti. Side moja heavy, usiniambie Kenya kuna umaskini, kwani hizi fat fingers zinaibia nane? Maskando inatuletea wa survival. Media define leadership, na sura ukiaka front page na improve readership. Ambia wase wa Twitter wa hashtag hii ama hash reality doesn't make a good TT. Commission of inquiry wanakula commission bila kutupa ukweli. Ni kubaya baka kukiwa kuzuri, unashindwa nini mbaya? Machozi ya perpetrator ineza dilute damu ya victim ilimwagika. After all is said and done, all will be said, nothing will be done. You're not my tribe, but you're my blood type. Like it doesn't have to take tragedy to know that.
Sheria
Good evening. What a beautiful day it has been. Monday. It's been hot out there. I don't know about the weather situation where you are, but it's about that time when the sun is going down. And, if you're a sucker for sunsets, you have a beautiful one that's coming up. But, of course, for now, this is Sheria Dive right here on Power Radio with me, James WaNjeri, where we talk low, we go deep, we ask the questions that perhaps no one else is asking. We look at everything from that legal angle because whether you like it or not, the law affects your life and my life. Karibuni sana to the show. Remember, always keeping our eyes on the comment section just to see if you guys have any feedback on the topic of the day or any songs you'd like to dedicate out there and to whom. I think tunafaa tuongeze segment ya kutuma salamu manze. Those of you who are listening to my voice and you remember Insider Magazine, are you out there? Yeah. Remember the shout-outs in the Insider Magazine? So I guess you can use the YouTube live comment section as your Insider Magazine as we just appreciate the people in our lives. And of course, today we're talking about a question. In this country, sometimes it can be very hard to determine whether hizi vitu nasikia ni ukweli ama ni uongo. Do you have moments when you're in this country of ours and you're like, wait a minute, am I really here? Am I out of this world? So today, there was a gentleman called Shakur. Shakur is a police officer. And Shakur is being accused in court by the Republic. Okay, the government of Kenya has taken Shakur. And Shakur is, I don't know whether he's still a police officer, but the last time I checked, he was a police officer working in the prisons department. And the court, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has today charged him in a matter. And the charge is publication of false information contrary to Section 23 of Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act number 5 of 2018. Now, what are the particulars of the offense? Jackson Kuria Kihara, alias Kop Shakur, on 11th of January 2025 at about 5:18 p.m. at an unknown place within the Republic of Kenya, jointly with others not before the court, knowingly and unlawfully published false information while using the ex-cop account dubbed Shakur the Cop, at Cop Shakur. And this is what he posted on his Twitter or X account. He posted, according to the government, he posted false information to say, this is what he said, under which law this CS is an upcoming dictator. He's the one responsible for the abductions together with Ruto. End of quote. Knowing it to be false and well calculated to cause panic among the citizens of Kenya. So he's being charged with the offense of publication of false information. And the question we're asking today, when you listen to that and you look at the statement that he has made, do you think the government here is fighting misinformation because they're claiming that he's spreading false information? Are they fighting misinformation or are they fighting freedom of speech? That's what we're talking about today. Is this a fight against misinformation or is it a fight against freedom of speech? So keep it right here. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic for the day. And also as we look around on the social just to see what have people actually been saying about this Kop Shakur story. Asanteni sana, but for now, today I'd like to take us a bit back in the day because this week actually there'll be a play that is being staged at the Alliance Francaise, and one of the things they're doing is talking about the old music. I don't have a lot of details on that, but as we talk about supporting local artists, this is a free advert for you guys. Hey, ni venye najua Sam Alcon is a part of that group, but that play is being staged, I believe, from the 23rd of this month. Yes, and we're going to get you more details on that. But to prepare you for that, if you're going for that, or even if you're not going for it, just to take you way back. This is probably the type of music you want to listen to with your parents because they were probably alive when this was happening. So to kick us off, here we go, Zilizopendwa edition.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Musa nimevumilia sana, Musa nimevumilia sana, kupigwa kama mimi punda, na sura yangu imeharibika, na ngumi zako za kila siku Musa, tabu sura yangu haikuwa na alama hata moja. Nilikuwa na afya nzuri, nilinona kama ngoima ya kirige. Musa ndugu, kweli Musa, uliponioa sura yangu haikuwa na alama hata moja. Nilikuwa na afya nzuri, nilinona kama ngoima ya kirike. Tafadhali Musa, tafuta bibi atakayeweza kuvumilia hizo tabia zako. Ukinywa pombe wa munywia yeye, ukinywa munyeke wa munywia yeye. Pole, pole, pole.
That, of course, right there is Pole Musa. Hii ngoma ilikuwa inaongea about domestic violence. Yeah? Domestic violence, believe it or not. You, when you're dancing to Pole Musa, what did you think you were dancing to? Over the years, Kenya's music has always been a very good mirror of society. We always say that art mirrors society, you know? And that's why sometimes you feel like artists almost feel like prophets because they tell things that are going to happen and those things exactly happen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the government's efforts to prosecute a police officer, a prison warder. This guy is a prison warder. He's called Kop Shakur. And Kop Shakur has been very vocal online, opposed to the shooting of protesters, opposed to the government and some of the measures that the government has taken against young people. And I remember during the Mandamano last year, Kop Shakur is the only police officer who showed up for the Mandamano with a banner outside Parliament. Okay? He showed up with it and said, hey, do not harm young people. Now, over time, Kop Shakur, as he has gotten more vocal, there was an indication sometime last year that he was going to be taken through a disciplinary process. And when you look at his X account, he says, I'm receiving messages of threats from unknown people saying how they will kill me. How I'm a uniformed officer, I shouldn't be tweeting what I'm tweeting. I'm not afraid of Ruto's rogue government. Now, that's just one of the things that he's posted on his account, but he is actually being accused of a post that he made a few days ago, and the argument here is that on the 11th of January at 5:18 p.m., he said the following words on his Twitter account, his X account, under which law this CS is an upcoming dictator. He's the one responsible for the abductions together with Ruto. And the government is saying that that information is wrong. Okay, that information is false. And the question is this an honest attempt at dealing with misinformation, or is it an attack on freedom of speech? That's a conversation I'm having today. And I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on this matter. You know, how do you believe that the message that has been put out by Mr. Shakur amounts to a lie. Now, this is the post he was talking about. The post, he had put up a video of Kipchumba Murkomen. And this is what Kipchumba Murkomen was saying. I want you to listen to this, and then we look at the context of Shakur's message. Let's go.
Ukiona wale wanatengeneza mapicha na kutengeneza picha kama wameweka mtu kwa jeneza na wanaweka jeneza kiongozi wa taifa. Mimi nataka niulize, and I want to ask this question to every parent in our country, and particularly the church leaders who are defending this bad behavior, and all those politicians, including those who don't agree with us politically, who are defending this behavior. If tomorrow your child goes to school today and another child whom they share the same class sends a picture, the same picture, when your child has been put in a coffin, will you still defend that behavior? Because when that message is sent to your child, what is that errant child saying? He is threatening your child that I will kill you. And we are here clapping for behaviors that have been perpetuated for a long time. I want to assure you, Your Excellency, myself and our team in Interior, we are going to relook at this behavior, and we will make sure that we will charge all of those who are using this social media to threaten others. Because if we don't do so, we will not have a country that is in order. We must bring order to our country because we want Kenyans to live in a nation that is orderly. And we want those who are in charge, those who are in public service, those who are in politics, wa support rais wetu kuhakikisha kwamba nchi yetu inakuwa ni nchi ambayo iko na law and order.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are the remarks of Kipchumba Murkomen, who is now the Minister of Interior. And in response to that video, Kop Shakur said, under which law? Everything that the CS has said, under which law? This CS is an upcoming dictator. He is the one responsible for the abductions together with Ruto. Now, on that post that Mr. Shakur had put, someone says, sijui kwa nini Wakenya wamemnyamazia tu, wanakubali kuendelea kulipa watu kama hawa salaries. Someone else says, there's no law citing us to respect leaders. Wafanye kazi yao, wawache kelele. And someone else puts a coffin photo that has a lot of watches. I think this one was done for Murkomen. Someone else says, kama Murkomen anataka kulia, sialie basi. Okay? Another person says, tumewaguza kweli kweli. Nimeona ya Murkomen imerembeshwa na ma Rolex. But someone else says, Shakur, you're a disgrace. Your freedom doesn't end where my freedom starts. Don't know what was being said there. Someone else is a lawyer who doesn't practice bure kabisa. Someone else saying, you can't buy order. Why is he shouting now? Just to make the president feel he's the right man. Forgets two interior CSs were killed during Uhuruto's regime. Someone else says, the question is, when you kill us abductors, we can't. But when you take action by posting mongoose like you see our own behavior. Someone else says, Murkomen should shut up. He's filling our ears with noise. Will they charge all Kenyans? It will fill your throat. You won't swallow boss command. Someone else says, you bring order in a country by increasing its prosperity. People are more pliable to government if their prosperity and freedom is championed by the government. But if you're constantly loading them with taxes, corruption, and misplaced priorities, well, you made your bed. Someone else says, when I hear a fool speak. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a statement there that has been made by the Interior CS. Murkomen says that posting a photo of the president in a coffin is like your child coming home to tell you, my friend in school has posted a photo of me in a coffin. And the question is saying is, would you treat it the way we are treating these ones for the president? And first of all, I think those two things are not even related in any shape, manner, or form. Because if the question then is that the person who's putting you in a coffin is threatening to kill you, surely, I think as a president and as a public officer, it is expected that you'll face a lot of criticism, some of which also makes you very angry. What is the possibility of any person killing the president of a country? Come on, let's be serious here for a minute. Who can even get up close to the president? This country has never had a president who's been a victim of assassination, right? It's not like the US where everyone has a gun. And so you find over their many years of their democracy, presidents have been shot. Even I think Reagan was the last president to be shot. I don't think those are two similar things. I don't think they mean the same thing. You cannot compare that. And I think it's ingenious rather that the minister is appealing to you as a parent, to put your child in that situation, except the president is not your child. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think hapo tuna compare oranges na apples. Completely different things. One you can squeeze and it gives you juice, and the other one must get into a blender. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this matter? Is Kop Shakur, by saying those words, because what he's saying is that in response to that video, he's saying under which law, okay? And I think once the matter is in court and it's looked at, perhaps then the government will be able to say which part of Shakur's tweet is disinformation, or is it that they want to muzzle him and stop his freedom of speech? Ladies and gentlemen, looking out for your comments and your thoughts on today's topic. And remember, keep it here on Sheria Dive. Remember, today we are taking a trip down memory lane as we do a mix of oldies and maybe some newbies in there. We had, that was Pole Juma. And Pole Juma is a song, Pole Musa was a song that was sung by one Mr. Daudi Kabaka. All right? Do you know Daudi Kabaka? Do you know Daudi Kabaka? Huo ndiye alikuwa manze anashikisha time za wazazi. He was the guy. He was the it during those days. Now let's see what comes next. This is Sheria Dive right here on Power Radio.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Angerike rudi tuonane, roho yangu inanisumbua. Minalia Angerike rudi tuonane, roho yangu inanisumbua. Kama situtawachana kwa mapenzi yetu ya kwanza tulipokuwa tukicheza twisti. Sikujua kama situtawachana kwa mapenzi yetu ya kwanza tulipokuwa tukicheza twisti. Shauri ya twisti. Makosa tuliyokosana, hayo ni makosa ya nyumbani. Ni vizuri unirudie Angerike. Makosa tuliyokosana, hayo ni makosa ya nyumbani. Angerike rudi tuonane, roho yangu yananisumbua. Minalia Angerike rudi tuonane, roho yangu inanisumbua. Kama situtawachana kwa mapenzi yetu ya kwanza tulipokuwa tukicheza twisti.
That is Angelique Twist by one Mr. John Zenze. Now, every time we play some of these songs, I like to go on Spotify just to look up and see who is this artist. There's a photo there of John Zenze, but there is no information. Okay? There is no information on who he is, When did he start singing? How many albums does he have? I'm a bit disappointed. Mr. John Nzenze, tafadhali mheshimiwa bwana, rekebisha hiyo Spotify hapo. Put in your bio. And it's a very important thing to put, because there are many people who get to listen to your music for the first time and they don't actually know who you are. And so it's a good way for them to know you and just get a bit of your story. Anyway, moving away from that, we are talking about when a police officer or when a person tweets and says, Murkomen, you are responsible for abductions. Is that misinformation? Is that giving wrongful information, according to you? And remember, the question of who is abducting Kenyans has become quite... it has become quite a topic and a matter that has split a lot of opinions. On one hand, you have the Inspector General of Police saying, we are not the ones doing this, someone else is doing this. So if this has been done to you, come and make a report. And people go and they make a report to the police. So who is this abducting people? And they're not the police, but they have guns. Then you have politicians coming out led by Rigiji together with Muturi, and they've come and said, hey, the NIS is the one doing this stuff. And the NIS comes out and says, it is not us. Then kidogo, the president comes and says, hii maneno ya abduction tutawacha. What? Tutawacha aje na mjekuwa mkifanya? So what's happening? Do you see? Sometimes living in this country, you almost feel like it's like you're in an episode of something. What is going on in Kenya? And how then do you determine that this guy is not saying the truth? By saying, for instance, the CS is an upcoming dictator. I could always argue that he's being a prophet, and prophets are allowed to be wrong. In any case, if a prophet is wrong, God will deal with them. But you see, calling someone an upcoming dictator does not necessarily mean you've called them a dictator. You're just saying they have all the signs and they have all the ingredients necessary, for them to be able to get there and be that dictator. And then he's the one responsible for the abductions together with Ruto. It's the Ministry of Interior. If it is the NIS that is doing this, the NIS is within the Ministry of Interior, isn't it? Because those are police officers. So they are within the security structure. And the president himself has actually come out and said, we will stop this abductions thing. So ladies and gentlemen, what exactly is the offense here? Can Shakur really be said to have published false information? I think a lot of what he has said can be supported with evidence from the same people in government who are accusing him of engaging in publication of false information. But you'll remember as well, false information is a very big problem in Kenya. All right? During the elections time, a lot of false information was used to corrupt the vote and to, sway voters into making a decision one way or the other. And fake news has not started being a problem today. You'll even remember that even in the first presidential election for Trump, I believe that was 2016. Cambridge Analytica, do you remember Cambridge Analytica? All that misinformation is a very, very big problem. Nowadays, even because of ChatGPT, it's become very hard to know what's real and what's not. Kitambo, it used to be Photoshop. On Photoshop, someone can go put your face and you're doing something. But now, ChatGPT just needs to get your photo and then you give prompts. As in, there's no creative work you're even expected to do. And kidogo unajipata umekalia elephant. Where hata hujawai karibia elephant in your life. That has happened. Is that then to be looked at as fake news, or do we call it that it's a question of artistic freedom? Is that artistic freedom that the artist is then putting out this work? But also, there's a bigger question of criticism. Okay? How should we criticize leaders? I feel like in Kenya, leaders want to be criticized in a way that they are happy to do it. Like this question of coffins, one of the realities is this. The president himself said, whoever puts me in that coffin, you will get into that coffin first, which is directly a threat from the president of the Republic of Kenya, that anyone who posts that, he will ensure that they are terminated. Hey, this is the same guy whose government is abducting people. Anyway, the president is saying, all right, that he is unhappy with how he's being portrayed and put in a coffin. And one of the, some of the feedback that has come to that statement by the president has been, while people are actually putting you in a mock coffin because you're clearly not dead, Mr. President. We can see you living, breathing, walking around, doing a get ready with me thing on TikTok. We can see you, Mr. President. You're very alive. But the reality is there are over 60 people who actually went into a coffin and they were buried. Why? They were shot by police at a protest. You cannot compare the two. You're saying you're dealing with a threat. Your interior CS is saying that this is a threat to kill you. Oh my God, you're so lucky because it's a threat. Why? Because there are people who've actually died. Young people have actually died. And the reality is, beginning with Rex Masai was shot in town. And he was the first of the Mandamano deaths. To date, no one has actually taken responsibility for the death of over 60 Kenyans. So, Mr. President, for you, it looks like a threat. But for the people, it's a reality. They have been in coffins. And in any case, if you're not dead and someone has put you in a coffin, does that make you dead? You're still alive. Like, I don't understand why this is facing so much beef with our leaders, and it's not even being called a lack of respect. As in, criticism, munataka criticism inakaaje? Because I think when it comes to being a public official, you have to have that tough skin, you know, that thick skin where you can actually withstand criticism that is coming from the citizens. And we were here when we read that decision by the Court of Appeal, where the Court of Appeal in that, actually where the High Court in that case of Robert Alai was saying, citizens need to be allowed to criticize. Is there criticism that could be considered wrong? Is there criticism that could be considered unfair? I think anytime we look at these two, and that, the reason why I am rejecting Murkomen's example of if a child from your school comes and says another child has put them in a coffin, the reason is this: you always have to look at the power dynamics in any relationship. Two children in class, people who don't know right from left, you know, people who are still growing and developing. If they do that sort of thing on each other, it's just called bullying, and it's dealt with as bullying. But when you are a president of a country and people are doing that to you, the power dynamics are that you are not equal. It's not like two children who are equal. You are not equal. You are the president. You're the most powerful person in the country. You're the guy who decides if the lights stay on or not. You can't compare yourself to a guy in a hostel in Juja who's putting you in a coffin. Come on, guys. As in, those power dynamics do not allow you to actually take the stand that you're taking. And I think it forms part of reasonable criticism. What about people who ban effigies? You've seen people banning effigies. You know, they ban effigies of leaders. Oh my God, can I shock you, Murkomen and Ruto? The people whose effigies were banned did not die. They kept living, imagine, until it was their time to die. No one was actually threatening them with death. Okay? But the reality of the country is that we are now at a place where people feel that, hey, manze mmetufika hadi hapa. And we have to tell you, we have to let you know. And also the fact that people are still mourning because 60 plus Kenyans died. Innocent people who did not have to die. There are families today who lost an only child. I believe Beasley Kogi was an only child of the parents. Just imagine the pain of Beasley Kogi's parents, that Beasley will never come back to his family. Imagine the pain of Rex Masai. He will never come back to his family. There's a Form 3 kid who was shot and died. Those are the realities. And I think as we talk about freedom of speech here, I think the president's own videos talking about this issue are going to be the ones that are used to get Shakur out of this hole that he finds himself in. Is the government, by charging Shakur with publishing false information, are they fighting misinformation, or is it an attempt to fight free speech? Is it a gag attempt? I'm going to be looking out at the comments to see what you have to say about this matter. And of course, it's now about 5:44. We are almost winding up this show because remember, this show happens between 5 and 6. But I'm told my producer that something is cooking. So I'll let you know once it's ready and then we can have it together. But for now, we are on that throwback. Kuna watu walikuwa kisikiza hii ngoma manze, kuna watu wengine wananyongo huko Nyayo cha Chambers. You know, some of these songs, easy the oldies. Thank God we're in a country today where you can listen to any song free, no one abducts you, no one tortures you, no one imprisons you. Oh wait, wrong country.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Nami nifanyeje? Kijana mwenzio, nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningetuoa malaika, nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningetuoa malaika. Kidege, hukuwaza we kidege. Oh kidege, hukuwaza we kidege. Nami nifanyeje? Kijana mwenzio, nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningekuoa we kidege, nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningekuoa we kidege. Oh! Zasumbua roho yangu, pesa zasumbua roho yangu. Ningekuoa kidege, ningekuoa dada. Nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningekuoa malaika, nashindwa na mali sina we. Ningekuoa malaika. Oh! Ningekuoa malaika. Ningekuoa malaika. Ningekuoa malaika. Ningekuoa malaika. Ningekuoa malaika.
That is Malaika by Fadhili Williams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story. Kenya is about to get its independence. Jamaa by the name of Tom Mboya akapewa kazi akaambiwa, you know what? You need to handle these celebrations as we are becoming an independent nation. And of course, Kenya, being an African country, we invited artists, you know, from all over the world to come. And so one Mr. Tom Mboya is then given the responsibility to put the event together. He's given some money. Hey, now the question becomes, Mr. Mboya, uko wapi bwana? Where are you, Mr. Mboya? Because no one could find Tom Mboya, and people began to panic. Kunaendaje hapa? Kumbe Mr. Mboya was in the company of one at the time damsel, pale South Africa. Who had been invited to Kenya to actually come and sing at the celebrations. And that's why one of the songs you probably know as Malaika has been sung by a South African artist. And I'm going to ask you, who is that South African artist who sang Malaika? Iyo naangalia hapo kwa comments. You know, if you know who sang Malaika, it was not a Kenyan artist, but it was a Kenyan song, and she went and sang it like it was her own. Daudi Kabaka was never compensated. Imagine, for this song that he wrote himself. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about misinformation versus suppression of free speech. Let's get one song, and then when we come back, we check out if there are any comments on that story, and then we can wrap it up. Tuko pamoja, twende kazi.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio. From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Wananipe pesa, watoto wana njaa, lakini mke wako mnapenda kutangatanga. Hata majirani walichoka kumuona, wawa kusema fungani milango anakuja. Bwana nipe pesa, watoto wana njaa, lakini mke wako mnapenda kutangatanga. Hata majirani walichoka kumuona, wawa kusema fungani milango anakuja. Watu wote wa Nairobi wakuona kila siku, kuingia nyumba zote sachanga kali sana. Tafadhali bana rudi, watoto wanalia sababu mke wako shazoea kutangatanga. Sasa majirani walichoka kumuona, wawa kusema fungani milango anakuja. Masikini Bwana nipe pesa, watoto wana njaa, lakini mke wako unapenda kutangatanga. Hata majirani walichoka kumuona, wawa kusema fungani milango anakuja. Bwana nipe pesa, watoto wanalia sababu mke wako shazoea kutangatanga. Sasa majirani walichoka kumuona, wawa kusema fungani milango anakuja. Watu wote wa Mombasa wakuona kila siku, kuingia nyumba zote sachanga kali sana. Tafadhali bana rudi, watoto wanalia sababu mke wako shazoea kutangatanga. Hata majirani anakuja. Wa kusema funga ni milango anakuja.
Fungieni milango anakuja. Bwana nipe pesa. You know I've always wondered hii wimbo. Who was singing the song? Was it the wife or was it the jirani? Anasema bibi yake hata wamejirani wamechoka na yeye. Kazi yake ni kutangatanga. But anyway, what I gotta say is this. Bwana, tuma hiyo pesa bro, manze. Hii pesa ya Uber fare imeacha. Take care of your children, eh? Sawa. Tuma pesa. Send that money. As you can see, our society has been suffering from the lack of men sending money for a long time. Tuma hiyo do, you know? Send that money. And that song is by AI Records original artists. Yeah? The main artist is AI Records original artist. I don't know why they've never actually given us those details. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying is this. Looking at Kop Shakur's tweet, okay, with the context of what has been happening and the context of even the things that the president has admitted to, I don't think this guy is being charged properly if they're charging him for spreading false information. The information is spreading. One, the way I look at it is that he's being a prophet by claiming Murkomen is on his way to being a dictator. Okay? He's also accusing him as the Minister for Interior, together with the president, as being responsible for the abductions, because sometimes the question must be asked. Where does the buck stop? Who do we blame for everything that is not working? The buck stops with the president. The buck stops with the guy in charge. The guy in charge is the one who must be blamed for everything. That right there is the price of public service. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been nice to have you on this show. Asanteni sana. See you back here on Saturday as we have our Sheria Dive show between 1 and 3 p.m. And of course, if there will be any changes, we're going to be communicating them to you. Now, earlier I was talking about the reason even why we are getting into these old songs, Zilizo Pendwa, is because happening at the Alliance Francais on this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's the 23rd to the 26th, there is a play or a production called African Twist. It's produced by Tabu Osusa, written by Paul Kelemba and directed by Martin Kigondu, and it's a Ketable music production, and they're calling it the soundtrack of Kenya's independence, featuring a young cast recreating the swinging 60s. The swinging 60s. Now, nuaibia hapa ka nini? Let me give you some... I don't know if it's a spoiler or what. But anyway, here is the synopsis of African Twist. The play traces the musical, societal, and political events of a newly independent nation of a period of a decade, 1960 to 1970, with flashes into the future. The story is based in and around a nightclub. It opens with a brief preamble by a young female narrator at Mambo Club, resplendent with the decor, electric appliances, and adverts of the era. Three young musician friends, Fadhili, Konde, Daudi, Charo, and Jack. I don't know, they said three. That's more than three. Anyway, a drunken sort discuss music and politics. Next day, they record the Malaika song, which is released and plays on radio, as well as in the jukebox in the club. Two young socialites, Malkia and Zembi, grace the club. They are daughters of the new middle-class Africans and seemingly out of reach of the musicians. The musicians record more songs at Equator Sound Studio during the Independence Night celebrations at the club. A wealthy, crooked businessman, Major, threatens Fadhili, who is interested in a relationship with Malkia. She is impressed by the musician's songs. Major hires Jack to harm Fadhili, but the witty drunkard discloses this to the musicians, and stage managers an attack, tricking Major into confessing that he had ran over Charo with his car intentionally. A recording of the confession is played in the packed club, and the businessman is arrested. A final concert is held, in which all the musicians perform along with Zembi, who inexplicably introduces a hip-hop and rap sound in the final song, bridging the past and present. The show closes with a brief restatement by the narrator. Okay? Sounds fun? So please, find out how do you get your tickets. Let's see. Oh, free entry? My goodness. There's a plot for you. Gentlemen, you don't have to tell it was free, okay? But just take her for this thing. I am sure you'll always be talking about this date. I promise you, it's better than going to sit in a restaurant. There's nothing interesting happens in restaurants unless someone chokes and they're being assisted, or someone gets some wine poured on them. But apart from that, the only thing that happens in the restaurant is eating. Anyway, you have a date night idea. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay? Asanteni sana, Mungu abariki na mkuwe na wiki njema inayojaa Kiswahili manze imekwamia hapo. Mkuwe na wiki iliyojaa uzuri. Hey, just have a good week, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you so much and have a lovely week. This is James WaNjeri with you on Sheria Dive, and I just want to thank you for being part of this show. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Tunapita kama moshi na kabla tuzame mchangani, kuna kushinda na kufeli. Inabidi ujijue tofauti ya mwalimu na mwanafunzi ni ujuzi na ujuaji. Oh, it's unbelievable that we make it this far. Undeniable, we see the promised land from afar, and it's so beautiful. No, they can't touch the fire, and you know it's not in vain. Steady tripping through the pain. Oh, steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. On the midnight train. Siku zazidi badilika, mengi yazidi kunipita jama. Oh no, maji yalipozidi unga, hawakudhani tutafika. It's unbelievable that we made it this far. Undeniable to see the promised land from afar. So beautiful, they gon' know who we are. They keep on walking in the rain. Kuna blessings in the pain. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady, ready. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion. It's on our road to Zion. Nothing will ever deny us. Whatever it takes, keep on rocking. Whatever it takes, keep on moving. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Yeah. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion.
This is Sheria Dive on Power Radio with me, James WaNjeri, where we take a deep dive into the law, discussing all things legal and educating you on how the law impacts your life.